To all who come to this happy place, welcome.
Welcome to the Talk About the Magic podcast, where you'll find inspiration and encouragement tied together with the magic of Disney. Now, here's your host, Joseph Ballesteros.
What is going on, Magic Cheers? Welcome to another episode of Talk About the Magic. I'm so grateful you decided to join me today, and thankful you decided to spend some of your time with me here. It's episode 187. Again, still doing the Facebook Live. We moved from Instagram to Facebook because, it was inevitable. On the group, though, as well. So be sure, if you're not on the group, be sure to join the group. I have it in the show notes because the group is much more personable. I love being able to talk with you guys more one-on-one in a group. So if you haven't joined the Facebook group for Talk About the Magic, be sure to do that there. Again, link will be in the show notes. But first off, I want to ask how your week has been. I hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving. I know some of you guys had to work. I know 2 years ago I worked on Thanksgiving. I was working at Best Buy. I worked Black Friday. It was intense, but I personally had a lot of fun. And I hope even if you have to work, I hope you find the little piece of joy in there, because of course it can be pretty frustrating at times, and it can be annoying knowing that so many people are off but you are not, and that could be not fun. But at the same time, it is kind of cool, being able to just bring in the holidays for so many people and enjoy seeing all the faces, at least for me. Maybe that's me. Maybe you're not that people kind of person, which is totally fine. But like I said, I hope you had a wonderful weekend. Hope you had a wonderful week so far. And, of course, hope you had some good food, whether you eat turkey or not. Thanksgiving is just all around a good excuse to eat food, so why not? And now we're getting ready for Christmas. We're excited. I had a fun time my wife and I finally telling our kids that we are going on our first Disney cruise ever. Very stoked for that. We've been going to Disney World for quite some time. And we've heard nothing but good things about the cruise, and still nothing but good things about the cruise. I have some reservations because we're giving up a lot. We're giving up our Disney World kind of annual thing that we get to do to go to the cruise instead. That means no Mickey's PhilharMagic, no Carousel of Progress, no Mine Train, no castle with, Christmas lights. Instead, we're going on a cruise where there's going to be musicals and stuff. I'm not a big musical person. I'm excited, though. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Listen, if you can tell me that I can eat all you can eat food that's as good as the way Disney makes it, and swim in crystal clear ocean the way it is on Lilo and Stitch, you got my attention. So I'm very, very excited to go on our first cruise, and I think it's been a lot of fun. But it was great being able to share it with them, and I cannot wait to share everything that happens on the cruise with you guys. So again, if you're not a part of the group or the page, be sure to follow there. Of course, everything will be in the show notes. But today, episode 187, I'm looking at this and I realize I didn't put a title on it, but I know what we're talking about, which is going to be teamwork, team effort, the importance of a team. And, it's funny because in our lives, right, at, the way we are kind of programmed, the way we think, the way we are, we're very, self-focused, self-centered, and not to say in a negative way. I mean, it's a normal thing. We think about what is best for us first. We think about how we can reach our goal first by ourselves. Sometimes we think we can only do it by ourselves. And there are times when that really is true. In the end, it might only be you who can actually make that difference. But there's so much power with being able to be part of a community or teamwork effort, to getting other people on board with your vision, with your dream, and helping you to get there. And when you have this this group of people, whether it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 1,000, 10,000, behind this idea, it's incredible how what seems impossible actually becomes possible and actually starts to become a reality. There's so many examples that we can look at, and I'm sure you could even look in your own personal life, whether it was with you personally or somebody that where you see things that you thought wouldn't be able to be done, get done because you had more than one person helping. And it doesn't, I know immediately our thoughts think of like really impossible things like, building some crazy monument or something, but I mean, and that's a great example. But I mean, even just the little things. Think about when you've had to, right now, my wife and I, we're putting up the lights, and every year I put up the lights, and it is the worst thing for me. I hate to do it. The only time I like doing it is when there's just like the normal string lights, just like a one string, and the lights are on the wire. But she loves, what are they, like chandelier style, or the ones that, they kind of have like other lines coming down from the line. I can't think of the word right now for some reason. But anyway, there's a lot of wire involved. I hate putting those up with a passion because they're wrinkled, they're folded. And so I'm frustrated. I'm angry. They're falling down. I'm putting them up. And I'm just like, I told her, look, I will save my money. I will pay someone to do this. I cannot handle this. Like it was getting me to a point where I had to take a break. Because I was taking my anger out on all of the pieces that go to the lights, and it was just very frustrating. And so she said, "Why don't you use a ladder?" And I was, "No, you can't use a ladder. Look at how the ground is; it's unleveled. You're gonna fall." And she's like, "No, try using a ladder." So whatever, I was like, "Look, it's not as easy as you're saying. You try to do it. Worst mistake, husbands, future husbands." Don't give your wife the opportunity to prove you wrong in that sense, because they usually can do something that you cannot do. And sure enough, she put the ladder up and she started doing it, and I saw how she was doing it different than what I was doing. And we were able to put the lights up and put them up right, and we now have a full light on our roof. And so I learned the value of teamwork. I may not been, for some reason, this was not a good year for me. I usually am doing it all alone, putting up the lights, but this year it was just too much, where I was just like, everything I kept trying to do was falling and breaking, whatever. So she was able to do it, and I was able to help her by helping her, giving her the stuff that she needed and telling her, hey, look here, look there, this one isn't right, or whatever. And we were able to accomplish it. So it could even be something as small as that. It's not always something huge. It's just the idea behind the fact of having teamwork to help you get where you want to be, or help you get, the end result that you're needing. And there was another story that I wanted to share with you guys. And if you're a bug lover, you should enjoy this story. And if you're somebody who feels sad when bugs die, then maybe you won't like the story. But it really impacted me. I was really like just completely in awe. We had a really big spider. I've only seen these kind of spiders out in the country, but he or she, I don't know what kind of spider it was. They just made their home on our roof in our backyard. And, we were like really scared, right? We'd walk underneath it looking up, very nervous. Like, is this thing going to drop on us when we're walking underneath it? Because every time we take the dog out and stuff. And every night I would look, it was probably about 4 nights in a row where I would open up and I would look at it and I would just stare at it. That's how big it was. I didn't need binoculars or nothing. It was that big. I could just look at it and see it. And I would look at it and I would see it just staying motionless. It was just there. It would never move. I'd get up in the morning and I'd go and I'd see it in the same place that I saw at night. And, there'd be some times where I'd see it kind of scuttle a different little area. But the reason why we knew it was alive is we kept seeing new kind of strands of bugs that were basically getting caught in the web. And it was, wrapping them up in the web. And one day we came home and I went to the window, opened it up just to say hi to my little friend. And it wasn't there. And I was like, well, that's scary. I hope it's not in here. And, I was looking, and then we've always had in our backyard the smallest ants. Like, they don't even bite you. They're that small. They'll crawl all over your feet. But they don't bite. I think they're just too small. They're not like your normal style ants where they bite you and you're just like crying because of the pain and itching afterwards. They're there. And I noticed that there was a lot more than usual. And when I looked, I saw kind of underneath our garden hose there, the spider. And the spider was upside down and it was being carried by these ants. And I was like, oh man, well, I guess the spider died and they're taking it. right? I mean, that's what I figured because the spider wasn't moving. It was on its back, and the ants are taking it. Then all of a sudden, I looked, a little later because I went and told my wife, and I was like, "Hey, they're ants all over the spider. This is crazy." So she was like, "Oh, let me look." So when we looked, we're like, "Where did it go? It's not there." And I was like, "I don't know." So I'm looking. I move the garden hose a little bit more, and I see that the spider is now not on its back, but it is full on. Looks like running. It is going super fast, trying to get to the wall, and it would get on the wall, it'd start climbing up the wall, and you would just literally see a line of ants from the ground going to the wall, getting onto the spider's legs, and, you'd see the spider fall. And I just was standing there just watching, I kind of wanted to help the spider out, I kind of felt bad for the spider, but I'm watching this and I'm just in awe because I'm like, this thing is massive. This thing is so scary that me, who's way bigger, right? Technically, I should be able to squish it if it was to come at me or spray it with something to make it go away. It was scaring me. And yet these little ants that I don't think twice about, they don't even, they crawl on my foot, they crawl on my hands. I could care less. They don't do nothing. It doesn't hurt or do anything to me that make me, be concerned. We're completely taking this spider down, and it would crawl on the wall, and then it would get pulled down. You would just see it fall, and then I'm watching it. It would fall onto the ground, and then starts running again on the ground. And it was weird because these ants are so small, you don't really see what they're doing. It's not like I can see their little hands like heave ho, like pushing or nothing. But you would just see the legs of the spider kind of stop being able to get ground. It was not able to get traction because the ants were basically moving it in such a way that it wasn't able to find its bearing, and it would kind of flip up a little, and once it got on its back again, you would see the ants start moving it. And what was amazing to me is this took for a good maybe 8 minutes or so. This spider would get on its back, start getting taken away, come back around and flip itself over, get on the wall or run across the cement, and then the ants would come. And there was a couple of times I was like, oh man, look, it's dead already, because now it's really on its back. The legs are shriveled up looking. It looks like it's done. And then all of a sudden you just see this new fight of life coming to the spider. It would flip and start going. And I couldn't understand how something so big and powerful was being taken down by the smallest thing. And it was pretty incredible to see what, teamwork could do. And even more amazing was how little thought I gave these ants, yet they're the ones who actually took down this big spider that I was afraid of, And it really just opened up my eyes and kind of my thought process, because we see so many things that we want to accomplish. We have so many ideas that we want to achieve, and they just seem so impossible. And they seem so, scary, intimidating, just full on, don't want to give it, any kind of thought because you're afraid of it. And it's pretty amazing that when you realize if you can get some teamwork behind it, if you can create an idea and create the kind of a bond between, other people to help you reach that goal, it doesn't matter how small you are. It doesn't matter how big the idea or the goal you're trying to reach is. If you have teamwork, you'll be able to accomplish, guaranteed at least, a lot more than you thought you would be able to accomplish alone. And, for a lot of us, this is tricky because, we have visions, we have ideas, we have goals, we have dreams that don't necessarily, really mesh with other people's ideas and dreams. And again, like I said, this is normal, right? This selfishness that we have, whereas other people maybe don't want to help you reach your goal or dream because they got their own thing going on. And that totally makes sense. I totally understand that. I'm that way as well, where sometimes I mean, if somebody was to come to me and ask me, and I feel like, well, I'm trying to do my own thing. But there's this amazing thing that now we have, which is called the internet, that we're able to communicate with others who have the same kind of goals and dreams that we have. Maybe not literally the exact same, but at least in the same realm. So, if you're trying to lose weight, you can find a community, whether at your local YMCA or on Facebook or, Reddit. I mean, Twitter. There's so many different places that you can look to find a community to help you lose weight. If you're trying to, pass a certain problem that you might have, you can find so many help groups to help you with that potential. They at least are rooting for you, and they're at least trying to help you with ideas. And all of a sudden, that lone feeling, that intimidation you feel when you think about this idea or dream that you have can kind of, go away in that sense. You can conquer that fear. You can conquer that idea because you realize that you have people who are supporting you saying, you can do this. Now, I'm not always saying that you're going to have people, like I said, physically helping you to achieve this goal. But emotionally, which is one of the biggest things to get over first, this emotion of fear that we have when it comes to a goal that we create or an idea that we want to, accomplish. Fear is like usually the first thing that hits us hard because we're trying to get out of our comfort zone. And because we're trying to get out of our comfort zone, every red light comes on, right? Every single thing that tells us, don't do this, I'm comfortable here, turns on. And so it's hard to get over that. That's one of the hardest things to do, which is just to simply start. So it's amazing when you have teamwork behind you, these, groups or friends or families that you can get on board with you, who can motivate you, who can help you. That is teamwork. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to, let me do a sports kind of a metaphor here. When you're on a basketball team, believe it or not, when I was in high school, I was not the fastest person. I was, believe it or not, I say that for you listening, it's because I've always had kind of chubby weight here. So when I was in high school, I was not the lightest person, and I wasn't an all-star basketball player. But everybody who sat on the bench, whether it was because we were not good players or because it was just not our time to be playing, because the starters were playing and everything, everybody who was on that bench, we cheered every time our team got the ball. We motivated, we yelled, we supported the players who were on the court. In practice, when we were practicing, we would motivate, we would bring inspiration and confidence to the other person and tell them, you got this. Don't sweat it. That's all right, you missed this. You can try again, do this again. And we would completely change a mentality that made even the farthest last player on the bench feel like they were part of the team, because that's what we were. And we had this mentality of it's all of us or none of us. And the beauty of it is, like I said, I personally did not help the team, right? I didn't physically score 32 points. I didn't physically make the last second shot. But in those games when, our star player would do that and he would make that last second 3-pointer, we all celebrated. And we all felt a part of it because we were all on the same team. We were all rooting for each other. And when one got the ball, it was like if I got the ball. You know what I mean? It was the same thing. And so when you find people who can support you in that way, when you find team who can get behind you and say, listen, I don't care, that I'm not physically doing this with you. You are able to do this, and I'm going to support you, and I'm going to root you on. It can change so much and help us reach these goals that we feel, like I said, at least alone, are pretty hard to reach. So, I want to encourage you, if you are, trying to reach something, if you are looking for, that next level, you're trying to get to that next step, and maybe you're stuck in that first step, which is maybe you're afraid to start. We're here. Get to the group. Get to talk about the Magic Group. We're here to motivate. We're here to encourage you. and we're here to root. If you want something more specific, like if you're trying to lose weight, if you're trying to do better at your job, trying to get further in your career, in schooling or something, go look in your community. If you're a people person, you want to interact with people live, look in the community. YMCA is great place to start and see things like that. But if not, yes, check online. Like I said, you can find, and what's really good about the Facebook groups is they're very hands-on. And so usually you can look at them and see that the moderator is doing a good job, making sure nobody gets in there who is trying to be anti what you're trying to reach. If you're trying to lose weight and you join a group about that and somebody comes in and just talks mess about it and, saying harsh things, the admin should be kicking them out. And if they're not, then just leave that group. Find a group that's going to be really true and supportive. There's a lot of apps too that can help you with stuff like that. It's pretty cool. So whatever your goal might be, I know I always mention losing weight because that's where I'm at right now. I just started doing my 6 miles, and I committed myself. I said I want to get back to doing what I was doing. I used to be able to do 6 miles in about an hour, and that was with jogging, running, and walking. And now I'm doing 6 miles, and it takes me about 2 hours and 40-something minutes. And I have to take a break. I take a good 15, 20-minute break after I do 3 miles. So... but I'm not, quitting. I have a goal, and I'm so I listen to my things of motivating me. I have, I look for other people who are trying to lose weight, and they motivate me, and it's a team effort in the sense of they say you can keep doing it, keep going. So you know what I mean? That's the thing. I encourage you to find that group that can be that team for you, that can really help to motivate you and push you. And like I said, I'm here. I'm rooting for you. Whatever you're trying to do, you can always shoot me an email or, send me a direct message and let me know, hey, man, can you just keep me in your thoughts, keep me in your prayers, because this is what I'm trying to do. And I would love to do that because that's what I'm about. And that's why I do the show. And that's why I love doing, the podcast. I started the show doing just Disney stuff. Then I started doing interviews, and now we're doing this, and I'm still doing interviews. But I, being able to know that I'm hopefully helping you guys to kind of motivate and get you encouraged and get you inspired to get to the next step is just an awesome thing that I love to do. I get excited to do. So hopefully, like I said, you guys can find something like that can help you kind of get you to that next thing. But our quotes for today. So here's a good one that I think is very kind of swept under the rug when we talk about Walt Disney. When we think about Walt Disney World, we think about Walt Disney. When we think about, Bambi and Snow White and, Jungle Book and all the films that he somehow had a hand in, Mary Poppins, of course, Peter Pan, we think about Walt Disney. I mean, that's who we think about. But here's a quote that he said. He said, "No one person can take credit for the success of a motion picture. It's strictly a team effort." And I love that because it's very true. If you've ever seen a movie, when you're watching a movie in the movie theaters, wait until the credits and sit there. Sit there for the entire credits. Two things you'll notice. Probably number one, you'll be the only person in theater left. Two, the workers of the theater will be looking at you like, seriously, bro, like, get out. Why are you still watching the credits? Get out. I want to clean up here. But look at how many names go across. And what's incredible is look at what they do. You're going to see the actors. You're going to see directors. You're going to see producers. You're going to see screenwriters. You're also going to see caterers. You're going to see makeup. You're going to see cleaning crew. You're going to see construction. You're going to see so many other visual effects and everything like that. And that's because everybody is needed to make the movie go smoothly and to make it run good, in the sense that if you don't have caterers there to feed your crew, they're going to be pretty upset and they're not going to be able to work to their best. If you don't have a cleanup crew to clean up after the caterers and the crew's eating, it's going to be a pretty big mess, and it's going to be, chaotic and, whatever else, smelly and other issues. I mean, so many things that could happen. And so you realize there's so much more than just oh, it's a movie, so you just need a camera and an actor. No, there's so much that goes into it. And that's why I love this quote. No one person can take credit, and that's including himself. Even though his name is in the movies, right? Even though his name is on the title, it's on the company, he could more than easily say it's a Walt Disney picture. It's a Walt Disney picture. It's all about Walt Disney. But no, I mean, he admits the fact that you need an entire team to do it. So that comes from the quotable Walt Disney. That'll also be in the show notes as well, so you can check it out there. The second one is 2 are better off than 1 because together they can work more effectively. If one of them falls down, the other can help him up. That one comes from Ecclesiastes 4:9-10. Again, very common, it's common sense. It makes sense, right? But if you don't have that other person, when you fall down, it's going to be a lot harder to get up. So even here, it's saying it's better to have someone with you, even to accomplish the goal you're trying to do, than just to do it alone. Because if you make a mistake, should you slip up, should you fall and not, have trouble getting back up, that person can help you do that. And then, of course, you can do that for them as well. And you guys go back and forth being able to help each other. So I really hope you enjoyed this episode. I was excited to talk to you about today's episode because, the spider story, right? Like, that's incredible. And unless, like I said, you're really about spiders, I apologize. So I didn't mean to. But I do want to just thank you guys for listening. And I did get a comment here from Tony Stevens. Thank you so much, Tony. The lights are icicles. Thank you, Tony Stevens. He's watching Facebook Live with me right now. So, again, guys, if it is your first time listening, please be sure to subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss any future episodes. I do shows just like this one, and as well as interview shows. You can check some previous episodes and future episodes I will be having up very soon. I'm not sure about this first week or second week, I should say, of December, or third week. I don't remember when we're going to the cruise. Anyway, I might be missing a week just because of the cruise. I'm going to try to get an episode out just on that day, though, anyway, but just in case, that explains why. And if you haven't, please be sure to join the group and the Facebook page so you can watch me actually doing these shows live and we can interact afterwards. But again, guys, I hope you have an awesome, wonderful day, night, weekend. Whenever you're listening to this, all the show notes or all the links and everything you need is in the show notes, is what I'm trying to say. But have an awesome rest of your week. And as always, stay magical.
This was the Talk About the Magic podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please be sure to rate, subscribe, and share with a friend. Thanks for listening, and as always, stay magical.